2019 Tacoma front brakes. Let's go ahead and get the wheel off. It's a 21 millimeter. Make sure you have your vehicle jacked up safely. That's number one. After we get the wheel off, we're going to come over here, and this has a dual caliper setup. So there's calipers on both sides of the pads. There's a little pin here we need to get out, and then there's like this little hardware right here. I guess this is called the brake hardware. Let's go ahead and pull this out right here. And on yours, take note that the different ends of this little clip are shaped differently. So take note on yours. I've kind of seen it go both ways where, like, you know, so take note, the bent part is on the top on mine. So once that's out, you can kind of tap the pin from the back, and then once it comes out a little bit, you can take some pliers and pull it out just like this. And then for the bottom, we're going to go ahead and take this little spring clip out. So just kind of tap on your pin and then pull it out. I'd put one hand on that little spring to make sure it doesn't fly off. So I'll go ahead and put the pin to the side, and then we'll go ahead and get this clip off right here. Like that. Okay, save this. Don't lose it. And now, if you have pliers, you could put them between the pads here and kind of open them up to push the pads apart. You got to kind of compress the pistons sometimes a little bit to be able to get your pad out. So if you have big pliers, just do that. If you need to, you could take a long, more stout flathead and just kind of push the pads towards the pistons. But be careful not to scratch your rotor. So I've seen guys like bend it on the rotor and then they damage the rotor. So don't scratch the rotor, nothing like that. Once your pistons are pushed in a little bit, you should be able to slide this out. Take note about your shims. These are Toyota factory pads. These have shims. I'll go into that in a sec. Go ahead and get this out right here. And then this one has the sensor. Put that to the side for now. Save all that stuff. Don't lose anything. Now I'm resurfacing the rotor. So I got to take the caliper off. This caliper is a little different. It has this steel brake line right here. I take out this 12 millimeter bolt when this is out, and then after I take the caliper bolts out, I have a little bit of room to move the caliper out of the way. So take that 12 millimeter out. After that's out, we'll go ahead and get this 17 millimeter out on the back. There's two of them, one right here and then one towards the top. You could use a wrench, like a gear wrench, long wrench, or I'm going to use my impact gun with a 17 swivel. This is kind of like cheating. I'm just going to get this out, but you could definitely use like a longer wrench if you need to. They'll be a little tight if you're doing it by hand, but it's not impossible. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get these out. And once I have these out, just support your caliper right away. It's a heavier caliper than usual, and you're going to need to support it right away, either with like some kind of hanger or bungee thing. I have this bungee like double wrapped on it. I'm supporting this brake line. Make sure that steel brake line doesn't get kinked. So once that's out the way, I could take the rotor off, either to bring to a shop to get machined. You could put a screw through the little threads in the front, and it'll push this off the hub. I'm gonna resurface it on the vehicle, so I don't need to worry about that. But you could, take it to a machine shop or wherever, an automotive shop, to get the rotors resurfaced. If you're just replacing the rotor, then just pull the rotor off and put your new one on, and then skip past this part. So anyways, I got my new pads right here. These are Toyota factory pads. I have to switch my shims over to my new pads. I have a video on Toyota brake pad shims that goes all into this whole shim deal. So look up GearmoAuto brake pad shims, Toyota brake pad shims, and then that'll explain everything. But yeah, switch these shims over. And the new pads come with a little bit of grease to put on the shims. The grease is for heat, and it kind of also, it's not supposed to, but it kind of acts like a glue to hold the shims together. The pad with the sensor is going to go on the inside. All right, so also right now is a good time to go ahead and clean out the caliper a little bit and push the caliper pistons in. Just go ahead and get like any dirt or grime or buildup in here, so your pad can come in here no problem. And then I have a tool that compresses both all 4 pistons all at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that out. There's probably ways to, if you don't have this tool, not many people have this tool that are just, doing this in their driveway. Google ways to do it. I'm sure there's ways to compress these pistons without this tool. I just have the tool so I could do it, but basically you want to compress all the pistons. You cannot do one at a time, so don't try. Sometimes you could put like a pad, when you have your caliper back on, you could put a pad in and push the pad in, and then you could push your other pistons in, and then the pad being in will prevent the other ones from popping out. I hope that made sense. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this back on. My rotor's machined. Got my 17mm bolts in. Got them hand started, and then I'm gonna hand start this 12mm right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these down once all these are going in. All right, got that. And then you could use a wrench to tighten the caliper bolts down. I'm going to go ahead and use my impact gun again to cheat. I'll put the torque specs in the either in the end of the video or in the description. Go ahead and get these tight, and I'll torque them off camera, save a little time. So once your caliper's on, this is our inner pad with the sensor on it. This goes on the inside. The sensor should go towards the bottom, so this just slides in here. Be careful, because your shims are going to want to they're going to kind of want to shift and go off of the pad, so try to keep them all together. All right, so I got my inner pad in. Now I'm going to do my outer pad. Try not to get anything on the pad material. And again, watch your shims, because we're going to have to slide the slide pin through the hole, and the slide pin has to go through all the shims and the pad on both sides. So this little hole, your pin should be able to slide through that hole and go through the shims, the pad, the shims, and then out the other side on the top and bottom. So we'll go ahead and get this guy in. You can clean these off. The cleaner they are, the easier they go in. I like to put a little lube on them too, just so the pads can not get hung up on them or anything. You don't have to, but that's just what I do. I clean them, and then I'll put a tad bit of brake lube on them. Not a lot, just barely any. So once these are in, right here, you could put your bottom clip back in. So what a lot of guys do is they put it backwards like that, and it rubs on the rotor and causes all kinds of problems, and it'll rip it out. So you don't want to put it like this. It's got to be the other way. So this is the... So you can put the top little pieces in, and then this needs to point outwards, like towards the back of the vehicle. These little loops, they sit on the pad like that, and then you want to slide your bottom pin through the bottom. And your bottom pin should go through the little loops that are on the spring. I'm hoping that you seeing it is better than me explaining it. But yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done, like that. These little loops they rest on the pads, and then obviously the top pointy part points away from the rotor, and then it goes right there in the 2 little spots go in the holes. Now the top one just slides in. That one's easy. And then we got to put our last little guy in. Now this little bent piece goes on top, and the straighter piece goes towards the bottom. So what I do is I like to do the top piece right here and then the center piece, get that in its hole, and then I'll put the bottom one in the hole on the bottom. You could kind of move the slide pins like back and forth to line up the holes better, and then sometimes it'll like completely pop out when you're trying to get the last one in, but that's how I do it, like that. All right, so that's good, and that's good. So just make sure it doesn't pop out, kind of give it like a wiggle test, and it should be good. And after you get that in, we're just going to make sure that the the metal brake line that I mentioned before, sometimes moving the caliper around will make this loosen up. So take a 10mm wrench or a pipe wrench and just kind of make sure that the nuts are tight, like right here and right here. I've seen guys accidentally make these loose when they're moving the caliper around, and then the brake fluid leaks out. So just make sure those are good, and you know, make sure the brake line's okay. And that's pretty much it, guys. So I hope this video helped you out. Thanks for watching. I know it's kind of a fast one, but I believe in you and you can do it. Thanks.